556. It's coming, the postponeless creature. It gains the block, and now it gains the door, chooses its latch from all the other fastenings, enters with a "You know me, sir?" simple salute and certain recognition, bold were it enemy, brief were it friend, dresses each house in crape and icicle, and carries one out of it to God. 557. I send two sunsets. Day and I in competition ran. I finished two, and several stars, while he was making one. His own was ampler, but as I was saying to a friend, mine is the more convenient to carry in the hand. 558. A visitor in marl, who influences flowers, till they are orderly as busts, and elegant as glass, who visits in the night, and just before the sun concludes his glistening interview, caresses, and is gone, but whom his fingers touched, and where his feet have run, and whatsoever mouth he kissed is as it had not been. 559. Through the dark sod as education, the lily passes sure, feels her white foot no trepidation, her faith no fear. Afterward in the meadow, swinging her beryl bell, the mold life, all forgotten now, in ecstasy and dell. 560. Did our best moment last, 'twould supersede the heaven. A few, and they by risk procure, so this sort are not given. Except as stimulants, in cases of despair, or stupor the reserve, these heavenly moments are. A grant of the divine, that certain as it comes, withdraws and leaves the dazzled soul in her unfurnished rooms. 561. Trust in the unexpected. By this was William Kidd persuaded of the buried gold, as one had testified. Through this the old philosopher his talismanic stone discerned, still withholden to effort undivine. 'Twas this allured Columbus when Genoa withdrew, before an apparition baptized America. The same afflicted Thomas, when deity assured 'twas better the perceiving not, provided it believed. 562. 'Twas love, not me. Oh, punish, pray. The real one died for thee, just him, not me. Such guilt to love thee most, doom it beyond the rest, forgive at last, 'twas base as Jesus most. Let justice not mistake, we two looked so alike, which was the guilty's sake, 'twas love's, now strike. 563. The brain, within its groove, runs evenly and true, but let a splinter swerve, 'twere easier for you to put a current back, when floods have slit the hills, and scooped a turnpike for themselves, and trodden out the mills. 564. She hideth her the last, and is the first to rise. Her night doth hardly recompense the closing of her eyes. She doth her purple work, and putteth her away in low apartments in the sod, as worthily as we. To imitate her life, as impotent would be, as make of our imperfect mints the julep of the bee. 565. Reverse cannot befall that fine prosperity, whose sources are interior as soon adversity. a diamond overtake in far Bolivian ground. Misfortune hath no implement could mar it if it found. 566. But little Carmine hath her face, of emeralds scant her gown. Her beauty is the love she doth itself exhibit mine. 567. It knew no medicine, it was not sickness then, nor any need of surgery, and therefore 'twas not pain. It moved away the cheeks, a dimple at a time, and left the profile plainer, and in the place of bloom. It left the little tint that never had a name. You've seen it on a cast's face, was paradise to blame? If momently ajar, temerity drew near, and sickened ever afterward for somewhat that it saw. 568. It knew no lapse nor diminution, but large, serene, burned on until through dissolution it failed from men. I could not deem these planetary forces annulled, but suffered an exchange of territory or world. 569. A precious, mouldering pleasure 'tis to meet an antique book in just the dress his century wore, a privilege, I think. His venerable hand take, and warming in our own, a passage back or two to make to times when he was young. His quaint opinions to inspect, his thought to ascertain, on themes concern our mutual mind, the literature of man. What interested scholars most, what competitions ran, when Plato was a certainty, and Sophocles a man, when Sappho was a living girl, and Beatrice wore the gown that Dante deified, fact centuries before. He traverses familiar, as one should come to town, and tell you all your dreams were true. He lived when dreams were born. His presence is enchantment. You beg him not to go. Old volumes shake their vellum heads and tantalize just so. 570. I tried to think a lonelier thing than any I had seen, some polar expiation, an omen in the bone of death's tremendous nearness. I probed retrieveless things, my duplicate to borrow, a haggard comfort springs from the belief that somewhere, within the clutch of thought, there dwells one other creature of heavenly love forgot. I plucked at our partition, as one should pry the walls, between himself and horror's twin within opposing cells. I almost strove to clasp his hand, such luxury it grew, that as myself could pity him, perhaps he pitied me. 571. Two butterflies went out at noon, and waltzed upon a farm, and then espied circumference, and caught a ride with him, then lost themselves, and found themselves in eddies of the sun, till gravitation missed them, and both were wrecked in noon. To all surviving butterflies be this fatuity, example and monition to entomology. 572. The day came slow, till 5 o'clock, then sprang before the hills, like hindered rubies o'er the light, a sudden musket spills. The purple could not keep the east, the sunrise shook abroad, like breadths of topaz packed a night, the lady just unrolled. The happy winds their timbrels took, the birds in docile rows, arrange themselves around their prince, the wind is prince of those. The orchard sparkled like a Jew, how mighty 'twas to be a guest in this stupendous place, the parlor of the day. 573. It was a quiet way. He asked if I was his. I made no answer of the tongue, but answer of the eyes. And then he bore me on before this mortal noise, with swiftness as of chariots, and distance as of wheels. This world did drop away as acres from the feet of one that leaneth from balloon upon an ether street. The gulf behind was not, the continents were new. Eternity it was before eternity was due. No seasons were to us, it was not night nor morn, but sunrise stopped upon the place and fastened it in dawn.